Yo, what's up? Ricky Sanders here. If you live for fast cars, greasy hands, and solving problems under the hood, welcome to your new favourite spot. I'm all about real fixes, no BS, and showing you how to keep your ride running like a champ. So go ahead, smash that like button, hit subscribe, and let's make some noise in the garage. Enough talk, let's get ready.
French scientist S. Carnot in 1824 created the foundations of thermodynamics. In this work, among many other things, he argued that to make a heat machine work most economically, it is possible to bring the working body to the flash point of the fuel by compression. In effect, he had formulated the principle on which diesel engines operate. All that was left was to make such an engine. But this had to wait for a few more decades. In 1892, German engineer Rudolf Diesel received a patent for the first engine, shown in the figure, operating on compression of air to the flash point. In 1987, the first diesel engine, that's what the Germans call a compression ignition engine, started working and proved its efficiency. Compared to the Otto engine, gasoline engine with spark plugs, the new engine was heavier and at first did not inspire much enthusiasm. But only at first. The design of the first diesel engine included an air compressor for fuel injection. Diesel himself at first suggested to use a very exotic variant, coal dust. The mixture of coal dust and air, of course, can work in the engine, but in how many hours the abrasive particles will eat rings, pistons, seats, and valve plates, it was somehow not thought of. And the coal dust itself is not so easy to get. Because of the heavy compressor, the engine was impossible to use on ground transportation. But in operation it consumed so little fuel and its operation was so stable that it was impossible to give it up. Calculations showed that much more power could be expected from the engine if the fuel supply problem could be solved. The engineers had the idea of replacing the compressor with a plunger pump. Pumping fuel in liquid form was extremely advantageous. It takes much less energy and the pump could be made quite small. However, it was not so easy to make a plunger pair. The matter is in special precision of manufacturing. The distance between parts is 2 to 3 microns. Nevertheless, the diesels found a job. For the first time they were installed on German submarines under Kaiser Wilhelm. This may be connected with the dark story of the disappearance of the inventor himself, who drowned in the English Channel on his way to England. In 1920, Robert Bosch finally gets a quality plunger pump. More fuel is learned to be fed into the engine cylinders. Now the diesel engine speed and its specific power becomes sufficient for installation in motor vehicles. Together with the pump, Bosch develops a very successful fuel injector. Combustion in a diesel engine. The easiest way to understand how a diesel engine works is to look at the combustion of fuel in it. Diesels use heavy fuel. This means that this type of internal combustion engine can run on kerosene, known as solar oil, fuel oil, crude oil, and even some vegetable oils. All of these fuels are more caloric than gasoline. So, the operating temperature of a diesel engine is noticeably higher than that of a gasoline engine. But heavy fuels burn worse than gasoline, slower and harder to ignite. To ignite them, a higher compression ratio is required, and the air-fuel mixture must be heated to 700 to 800 degrees Celsius. The viscosity of any of the diesel fuels, even when heated, is higher than that of gasoline, and it is necessary to atomize it to the smallest state, especially in high-speed diesels. Even the experimental diesel engine operated with a fuel injection pressure of at least 50 bar, atm, and a practical engine requires 100 to 200 bar. However, heavy caloric fuels have their own advantage over gasoline. The pressure in the diesel cylinder is almost constant throughout the expansion stroke, so their torque is quite significant and stable. Due to the constant pressure, the ignition advance angle also remains constant and does not require adjustment. The resource of a diesel engine is greater than that of a gasoline engine. There are areas where diesel is practically indispensable, for example in agricultural tractors. Diesel combustion chambers can be made directly in the bottom of the piston. A specially shaped recess is made there, or in some cases pre-chambers, or forechambers, as they say in the engine's homeland, are used. The first option is the most economical, the second was considered optimal in earlier years. Now, when economy, in many cases, is considered to be decisive, pre-chamber variants are being abandoned again. The working process in a diesel engine can proceed, as in a gasoline engine, in 2 or 4 tacks. The vast majority of diesels are 4 strokes. 2 strokes are easier to reverse, so they are common on marine vessels where a rigid linkage to the propeller shaft is used. The combustion chambers in 2-stroke diesels are not separated due to obvious problems with 4-chamber blow-by. The design of a diesel engine depends on its power and purpose. The most powerful engines, used in ships and some power plants, have a crosshead, a device to reduce lateral forces on the piston. All powerful diesels have a complexly constructed bottom because they are subjected to high temperatures. The part facing the cylinder is made of steel, and the rest of the piston, skirt, is aluminum. In addition, the piston has grooves for the oil cooling system. Diesel engine types also differ in terms of cylinder arrangement. There are row, V-shaped, and even cylinders with a 180-degree turn. This depends on the conditions that exist at the place where the engine is installed. For example, a modern truck or bus is likely to have a double-row diesel engine mounted under the floor of the driver's cab. How the diesel engine is arranged will also depend on the presence of a supercharger. Turbocharging of diesels. This compressor will pressurize the air coming through the intake manifold, increasing the charge of air in the cylinders, and thus the power of the engine will increase markedly. The work of such engines is easily recognized by the characteristic whistle at the moment of turbine unwinding. Pros and cons of diesels. In conclusion, diesel engines have played a crucial role in powering various industries and vehicles for decades. Their efficiency, durability, and torque make them a preferred choice for heavy-duty applications. While they face challenges such as environmental concerns and competition from alternative fuel sources, advancements in technology continue to enhance their performance and reduce emissions. As we move towards a more sustainable future, understanding the strengths and weaknesses of diesel engines will be essential for making informed decisions in transportation and energy. Thank you for watching, and we hope you gained valuable insights into the world of diesel engines.